Good afternoon. It is September 15th, 2022. And here we had a range day. Well, actually, not a range day. It was a downtrend day. We hit the measured move of the range down here, bounced a few times, came back up, uh, tested the midline from the overnights, and then we sold off. So um, it wouldn't surprise me if we made like a measured move down from the midline to, let's see. Okay, so we went a little further than that. I was thinking maybe that's where it bounced. You can see there's some, like, it did bounce there a little bit, but nothing too clear. So let's take a look. There was a lot of price action today. First of all, this channel is definitely valid, but it had the feel of a range day. Um, really, I guess it was a range until right here. We had a nice failure right here, and then it slides down, hits that measured move, and when it kept bouncing and shoots back, it still felt like a range day. But you can see the last couple hours of the day really determined that this was a bearish day. So we start off in this downtrend. Is probably closer to like this. Yeah, we start off in this downtrend in the overnight. I think 5 o'clock comes in right about here. So you get this technically a failure, but it's in no man's land, not near the EMA or the trend line. So don't take that. We test this low once, twice. You have a news item right here, and we get a clear break right here and some congestion. So let me point out now. I'm seeing this. We get this break in this leg, really two legs of correction. Look at this leg of correction. It looks very similar to this leg of correction. So you just spike up and do this sideways stuff. And you get these like dojis in here before it goes up. So it's congestive. And that leads to a correction. I don't think this ticks lower, but I really like that for like a failure. So maybe take that, and if you don't take that, maybe you take that one. Except this one's much more aggressive. This one's not off the EMA, so I'm not too crazy about that one. But that's a nice channel down. Get a break, move to a new low, and it goes sideways. And I don't think you want to take anything here. This looks like a second entry, but it's just yeah, you could argue for it to be a double test. I don't think there's enough room back to the EMA right there. 4650. Yeah, that's real tight. So maybe you take that, but that's not. I don't think you want to look at that as a high probability setup. So we break out of the range with trend, and it fails and goes the other way. And then we form a range up here, and you get a first entry, second entry long off the EMA. It's also a double test, so you might take that, and that turns out to be a nice move. Come up here. Actually, you get the same pattern right there. This one's a little more aggressive because you're going into these highs, but that's like a repeat pattern. I like that. So I would have had the range drawn at this midline, and then we hit a measured move. And I don't think there's anything in here. You can see that's a two-legged pullback right there, but I don't think you want to go short just yet. Perhaps there's a channel in here. No, that'd be two. I think it'd be like this or something. That could be a channel you're looking at. You get this break, move to a new high. So maybe you're looking for a failure here. Maybe that's why people sold right here, but it wasn't too convincing. It becomes congestive. and you get a new low, first entry, second entry, that fails, and it's just a trap. So you see a lot of these traps, but I don't think you can take them really because this one's above the EMA, and I don't think that trend line is too clear yet. Actually, yeah, it probably would have been, but you would have had it like that. So let's keep it like that because that's how you would have been playing it. Yeah, and I don't think you can take that, unfortunately. Nothing in there. Come down here. Start trending upward a little bit after shooting below the overnight lows. Looks like we matched this low and bounce a little. And first entry, failed second entry. I don't think you even get 4 ticks on that. 52.50. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'd be looking at this. I'll be looking at that. It doesn't touch the EMA, though, is the problem. And look at the room to the highs. Not a lot of room to the highs. So, it's aggressive. And then it sells off. First entry, failed second entry. I'd probably look at this as this looks like a new high. First entry goes down. It just looks like a new high to me. So I like this failure personally. Maybe you take this one though. Maybe you enter right there. I don't think so because that bounced a couple times first. I think you gotta wait. And you can see a lot of people waited right there. Then it drops, spike and channel down. That's the second entry, but it's far from the EMA. You wouldn't have this trend channel drawn yet. You might. Yeah, I don't think you want to take it off that. Based off that, I mean. First entry, second entry, too close to the lows. You can see they scare people before this. I think you might want to take that as a failure. It looks like a new high. It tried to go high long 2 times. And when this one, this one's too close to the lows, this one isn't as close to the lows, so you might take that. Second entry short right here, but I think you want to wait on a lower high. However, there is room back to the support, so maybe you take that. It's trying to go higher. I don't think you want to take this. This is way too congestive. But it is oh, it's not even a lower high. Never mind. And then we just chop around and we hit that measured move and we bounce. Come up here, form a range. Chopping back and forth. Tries to go higher, fails, breaks out to the low side. And that's a second entry. And that's like a perfect breakout. So I might take that. If you don't want that, come back, test the highs, you get a higher low. I marked that, but now I'm thinking like, I don't know, something's happened. We had this breakout and this bar it closed right at the midline, so I think you want to hold off on that. First entry. This looks like a failure to me. So maybe you take it. This one. First entry, second entry short doesn't work out, but then this is a new high. You get a first entry, failed second entry long. I like that. First scalp. Test these lows. We're going sideways. Breakout, pull back, test it. That's a failure too. That's a failed second entry short. Far from the EMA, so not a great setup, but it's a breakout pullback too. Come down to this trend line, and you can see we find some resistance once, twice, and a third time. When it broke above this and then started going lower, I like that for a trap. You only get 4 ticks out of that though. And that's what, had I seen the measured move, maybe I would have held off, but bias was down to me, and I felt like we might go a little further. So I like that just for 4 ticks. You can see there's 34.25. Just enough room. That's actually 4 ticks. So You could even say this is lucky. I got to change that to green, knowing that there's only 4 ticks there. But I like that in real time. And you can see as soon as people hit their 4 tick profit, they all exited. And rockets up, finds resistance at the overnight lows, bounces, comes in, we get this range. And this, to me, this looks like a repeat pattern of this. You can see we get a first entry, second entry, third entry, and it rockets up. So I like that first entry, second entry. It really, it's not so much a third entry here. It's just a single test, whereas here it looks like you could argue for it to be a double test. Form it here, test it once, test it a second time. So that's why I marked that one blue. Room to the highs. Breakout, pull back, fail a second time. Maybe you take that when it fails to go lower a second time. Fails to go lower a third time, they trap people who are like giving too much weight to this repeat pattern, probably with the third entry. Boom. First entry, failed second entry. That's a great entry right there. So I want to talk about this. I do believe this is the channel. I mean, this is the channel I was playing, this skinnier one. But if you played this channel, and really you probably should have drawn that off of here. Yeah. This one sets up a nice trap down here. We'll talk about that. But anyway, the failure leads to the second entry short. You might take that. Not a great signal bar. I don't like it. We had a break of this skinnier channel. And if you're playing this skinnier channel, you get a failure, but that's way far from the EMA. I don't think you want to take that. So let's talk about this trap. I think people, first of all, this looks like one leg up. But I think people might have been just too late when they were playing this channel. So you get this, actually, also, this is the second entry happens here. So if you want to go, you take that one right there. That gets you a scalp, and then we get 4 stacked up bars. So this isn't really a good lower high. It's congestive. So those are some reasons why that would be a trap. So I think I gotta mark this green because it's inside that channel. Looks like one leg up to me. You get this second leg up. This is actually a second entry short. A lot of room back to the EMA. You might want to take that. Try to go higher once and twice. I don't think you would have had this channel. I think probably would have had it drawn like from that, from this bar right here, this bar. So that gives you this channel, and maybe you take this. This is a failure, but I'd be playing that congestion, so I wouldn't take that. But anyway, we come down here. This is like a second entry right here, but it's just too close to the lows. But this is a new high. First entry, failed second entry. Okay, that doesn't set up. You get a second entry short right here. I think you got to take that. This is a strong trend down. Very strong trend down. Then you get another second entry. Failed second entry long, and it kind of looks like a second entry short. Take that. And then eventually this trend fails. This is all too far from the EMA. And then where we're just working sideways, really, and it's near the end of the day, so I think you got to wrap it up. So that's what I saw for today. I hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.